He's the director of the Institute for the Study of Global Anti-Semitism and Policy, or ISGAP. Charles, also joining the conversation. Thanks so much for being with us. And I know that your experience actually played out at an international conference at Oxford, another place, a bastion of democratic values, like we just heard about also in Sweden. So tell us what happened there.
Yeah, so thank you for having me. It's an honor to be here. So very briefly, last year in July of 2019, there was an international conference on issues of rising nationalism and racism. And a colleague of mine at St. Anthony's College in Oxford was organizing this international conference. And he's also concerned about issues of anti-Semitism. And ISGAP is an international research center, so we brought 9 prestigious international scholars to join us at Oxford to present papers on racism, nationalism, and anti-Semitism. And it was an international group of professors. We were 9. We had 2 panels at the conference. And when the conference began, the proceedings were stopped. And people got up and they said they're boycotting the conference until the apartheid-supporting fascist Zionists were removed from this international conference in African studies. And we were quite shocked, and we were completely demonized. We were a diverse group of scholars of African origin from the Middle East, Israelis, Europeans, Americans. We had 3 African Americans with us from historically black universities and colleges, and they were accused of blackwashing fascist Zionism at the conference, and that the Zionists were usurping the African Studies program in Oxford. And we were banned. And Professor Mbembe was the keynote speaker. He's instrumental in the international BDS movement. And at the end of the day, with the 9 of us went into a room with 1 participant. There were 125 papers presented at this conference, and 1 scholar joined us in an unofficial room where we presented our papers to each other. And to add insult to injury, I was starting a fellowship last year in September of 2019, and the people supporting my research fellowship at Oxford contacted me, and they said because of the controversy of the work of ISGAP and dealing with contemporary anti-Semitism, they were withdrawing support for my fellowship.
Wow.
And it was quite a shock. I spoke to the heads of the college and people at the university, and I explained the situation to them. And I knew that the IHRA definition was actually adopted as a guideline by Oxford University. So I knew that I had something to stand on. And sure enough, the university reviewed what had transpired, and they contacted me only a few days later, and they told me that as a graduate of Oxford University that I would always be welcome. And the head of my college, St. Anthony's College, actually, he's the person who now sponsors the fellowship here. I was able to take up the fellowship, and it's just been extended for a few more years. So
well, Charles,
unfortunate.
Certainly an unfortunate experience. I'm glad to hear a very practical case that you're telling us about, where this definition was actually ammunition to help you sort of lay the groundwork for what's right and what's wrong, and turn around what happened to you. A reminder to everyone watching of why we're actually here, really trying to put life, to breathe life into those definitions.